Hello, besties, and welcome to another reaction. John Andrew sent me a link to this video, and he made a donation to my PayPal, and he said he would like me to react to this video. So I checked out the title, and it was an interesting title. It says, Beatles lyrics only Brits will understand. Now, I know that Americans especially are fascinated by, the culture of Britain. And we're fascinated by your culture as well. And not only America, quite a lot of countries in the world are fascinated by, the Brits and our humor and the language. So, and also the Beatles happen to be one of the most popular and the biggest thing to come out of this great country of ours. So I'm thinking this will be an interesting one. So without much further ado, let's go check this out. The original video is from a channel called Let Them Talk TV. I'm going to put the link also in the description in case you want to go and watch the full video. So let's check this out.
Today on Let Them Talk TV, lyrics from Beatles songs that you might only understand if you're British or you're familiar with British culture. We'll also take a look at some other linguistic curiosities from the Fab Four. So if you love the Beatles but are confused by some of their lyrics, I can help. By the way, the gods of YouTube won't permit me to play anything but the shortest snippet of each song.
I know that feeling.
I've got a feeling that you're going to love this. Yeah.
Let's
Let's start with some of the songs from the Sgt. Pepper's album. In A Day in the Life, Paul McCartney sings, "Found my coat and grabbed my hat.
Made the bus in seconds flat. Found my way upstairs and had a smoke.
And somebody spoke and I went into a dream." Where is upstairs? And why is he going there? When the song was written, buses in London and many cities had 2 decks, but you could only smoke on the upper deck. It was only in 1991 that smoking was totally banned on buses. By the way, the line "had a smoke and I went into a dream" was enough to get the song banned by the BBC for the supposed drug reference. Paul says it wasn't about that, but I suspect it was lying.
I particularly remember, when the buses, when you could smoke upstairs, and I hated it because I'm not a smoker, and you'll be upstairs and you'll get back home and you'll just stink, of cigarette. But I think those, I don't know, I was going to say, I think those lyrics are pretty easy to understand. I'm sure they have upper deck buses in many parts of the world. Maybe not.
In the song Good Morning, John sings, "It's 5 o'clock, everywhere in town it's getting dark.
Everyone you see is full of life. It's time for tea and meet the wife."
Strange. 5 o'clock is when you stop work.
I know that feeling too, the darkness.
It's time for tea. This does not mean a cup of tea, but rather dinner, the evening meal, which is called tea by most working class people in the north of England. And Meet the Wife was the name of a BBC sitcom of the 1960s. So what John describes is the scene of everyday life in a northern town. Workers are leaving the factory, going home and eating dinner, tea, in front of the TV.
I don't think that's all he was talking about. Also, in the winter, if you've ever been to England or Britain, by 4:30, 5 p.m. in the evening, it's dark. So when he said it was getting dark, he meant that literally. I agree with all the thing he said about, tea, which is all true. But he didn't mention the fact that by 5 p.m. in England in winter, it's dark. You would think it was 10 p.m. at night.
The TV. In Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite, John sings,
Over men and horses, hoops and garters, lastly through a hogshead of real fire.
and this one threw me, I must admit. I imagined the head of a pig on fire because I'm sure you're aware that hog is a synonym for a pig. But in fact, a hogshead is a barrel of a certain size. So a performer jumped through a burning barrel. Then there's the line, and of course, Henry the horse dances the waltz. For a horse, that's quite an act. Naturally, the the BBC interpreted it as a drug reference, since Henry and horse were both slang words for heroin, and it got banned on the radio.
Wow. I never knew that. That was a slang word for heroin.
John says it wasn't about that, but I suspect he was lying.
Performs his feat on Saturday at Bishopsgate.
The song also mentions Bishopsgate, which I believe is the only neighbourhood in London mentioned in a Beatles song.
Oh, I'm very proud of that actually, because I live about 10 minutes away from Bishopsgate. So maybe that's my claim to fame here. Okay, I didn't know that.
John, why don't you wear your glasses on stage?
Because I'd lose my nerve if I could see everybody in the audience, you know. I like to have it all vague.
From the album Abbey Road, in the song Polythene
That's
Pam,
clever.
John sings,
She's a kind of a girl that makes an use of the world, yet you can say she was attractively built.
look at how John Lennon sings these lines in an exaggerated Liverpool accent known as the Scouse accent. Now, in my accent from the south, and indeed in other Beatles songs, you'd say girl and world with an vowel. But in the strong Liverpool accent, it's an sound, girl, well. He also uses a tapped R. Now, in my accent, attractively, in a Liverpool accent, attractively built. In earlier takes of Polythene Pam, John didn't use a strong Scouse accent. News of the World was a Sunday tabloid newspaper renowned for salacious stories and scandals.
News of the World was just like our Enquirer. You know, you had all this. If you were a celebrity, you hated the News of the World, because if you're having an affair with somebody, or you met a girl in a club, or you're married and you're getting with somebody, or whatever like that, be sure that News of the World will track down that person. They will buy the story or whatever, or sell the story or whatever, how you want to call it. And it will be like center page and front of the page. And because it comes out every Sunday, it's like people will go to like clubs or parties and they'll get back home looking forward to the News of the World, and they'll read the gossip. I mean, there was no Instagram or Facebook or Twitter in those days. And that's what, you know, we fed on. Or almost every celebrity has appeared in News of the World. If you haven't, you're not big enough.
In Penny Lane, the Beatles sing a four of fish is Liverpool talk for fourpence worth of fish and chips. Finger pies has sexual connotations, and I'll leave it at that. In the song Rain,
I didn't know
John
that.
sings, when the sun shines, and sip their lemonade. I mention this because if you're not British, then you have a different idea of what lemonade is. In Britain, it's basically sparkling sugar water with very little lemon content.
Isn't that what it is all over the world? Lemonade, sparkling water and lemon.
Very little lemon content. So, for example, R. White's is one of the top-selling brands of lemonade in the UK. And on their website, it says, just great tasting lemonade since 1845. And it gives its ingredients for premium lemonade, which are, wait for it, carbonated water, sugar, lemon juice from concentrate, about 2%, citric acid flavouring, sodium citrate, acidity regulator, sweeteners, saccharin, acylsulfame, K, aspartame, sodium benzoate, preservative. Was that really what Charles Dickens and Her Majesty Queen Victoria were drinking on a hot summer afternoon in England in 1845?
I don't know.
I doubt it. So no, not freshly squeezed juice of a dozen lemons. That's what John is referring to in this rather scathing song, for no one in particular, but just poking fun at people who are continually moaning about trivial things like the weather. It's raining, it's too hot, and he's saying, I'm so tired of these people, don't bother me with this nonsense, just get on
Typically
with your
John.
life. From Revolver in the song
Oh, I love this
Taxman
one.
by George Harrison, the backing vocals speak of Mr. Wilson and Mr. Heath. Harold Wilson was the Prime Minister at the time, and Edward Heath was the leader of the opposition. The income tax rate in 1966, when the song was written, was up to 90 to 91%
What
for
the-
higher earners, which the
What the hell? 90 to 91%. Oh my. That is what you call the monkey works and the baboon gets all the profit. That is incredible. 90 to 91%. I don't believe it.
up to 90 to 91% for higher earners, which the Beatles were less than happy with. It may have been unfair, but it gave us a great song.
90%.
And your bird can sing. Here, bird in British English means a girl, a chick.
That's a
Of course,
great
it
song.
can
I don't
have
know
a
that song.
Double meaning. And in the song Blackbird,
Blackbird singing in the dead of night.
it could be interpreted as a black girl. In fact, Paul McCartney stated that in a 2018 interview. It was a reference to civil rights movement, and McCartney had read a newspaper article about a black woman involved in the struggle.
And in England, a bird is a girl. So I was thinking of a black girl
That's a great song too.
going through this, now's your time to arise, set yourself free.
That's a great song, the Blackbird song. I love that song. First time I heard it, I was very, very emotional. I reacted to it, so you might want to check that out.
In Dr. Robert, John Lennon sings, "The National Health in the UK provides free universal health care for everyone. It's usually called the NHS, National Health Service. But the line has two meanings. Health is used with a broader meaning, and Dr. Robert is no doubt a person who peddles peculiar pills that may induce a temporary state of blissfulness for the consumer, shall we say."
All those great songs, man, that I'm hearing, I don't think I know half the Beatles songs. It's just incredible. And it's interesting what he said about the NHS, because I heard that in America, if you called an ambulance, I don't know if this is true, you get charged for that. That's incredible. If you call an ambulance 10 times in the UK, you don't pay a penny. I think we're spoiled over here.
From the White Album, "Back in the USSR" begins with the line, now this was the British Overseas Air Corporation. In Britain in the 1960s, there were two main British airlines, BOAC, mostly for long-haul flights, and BEA,
BOAC.
British European Airlines for European flights. BEA happens to be the first three letters of Beatles. So, at the end of the movie A Hard Day's Night, they take a helicopter marked BEA Tools. Brits in the early 1960s would have found that funny, though it doesn't really stand the test of time.
BOAC. I've always wondered what the hell they were saying there, but I couldn't figure it out. So that's what that's all about. I didn't know. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Helter Skelter is a ride at an amusement park. It looks like this. And if you know that, then the lyrics make sense.
When I get to the bottom, I go back to the top of the slide.
In the song You Won't See Me, Paul sings, "When I call you up, your line's engaged."
Your line's engaged.
Now, engaged in British English means that the line is busy. You can imagine Paul McCartney calling his bird at the time, Jane Asher, and getting this engaged tone. And of course, I'm going to mention Rocky Raccoon.
Excuse me if I'm wrong, but I thought everywhere in the world, if you said your line was engaged, you know that it was busy. I don't know. It'll be interesting to you know, you guys, wherever you're from, to tell us if that's the same meaning in your country too. Because I didn't think that's like too ambiguous or mystery engaged. But hey, you never know.
And of course, I'm going to mention Rocky Raccoon, not strictly a Britishism, but I'm mentioning it because if you know my name, it's Gideon and it's mentioned in the song.
Checked into his room only to find Gideon's Bible.
The Gideons are an international Christian organization that leaves free copies of the Bible in hotel rooms and other places. And here's a bonus. It's not a Britishism at all, but rather a Japanesism. In the song Julia, John Lennon sings,
Ocean child calls me.
Ocean Child in Japanese is Yoko, which I'm sure you know was the name of John's wife. If you're not British, how many did you know? If you are British, how many did you know? And if I've left any Beatles Britishisms out, then let me know below and I'll make a second video.
Okay, I am British and I knew quite a bit of that, you know. I think I probably like didn't know about three. That BOA thing, you know, I didn't know that. I didn't know that a horse, no, sorry, did he say it was a horse? He said something was heroin. I'm not sure if it was, or maybe Henry or horse, I'm not sure. I didn't know that part. I don't know, there were maybe one or two other things that I didn't know, but I don't quite remember now. But I spoke about it at the time it happened, so you can figure that out. But there's some things as well that I thought was the same thing all over the world. For example, right, I cannot understand how anybody will like not understand what you meant if you say, I called you and your line was engaged. You know, I thought I was like pretty straightforward, but then again, I don't know. Also, the buses, you know, the upper deck thing, you know, I thought that was like pretty easy as well. I don't know. But I heard so many songs here that I've never heard before. I guess maybe they're just album tracks, and that's why I didn't know them. And they're quite good songs too. And also, I didn't know that the tax for the worldly in particular back then was very, very high. But I thought it was like 60, 70%. To hear that it was 90 to 91%, that is ridiculous. I would just say, just take everything away. I mean, if I make £10 in a week or £10 in a year, and you're saying to me you're going to tax me for £9, we can go to war for that. That's incredible. That is incredible, truly incredible. And it explains why a lot of people left the country at that time. You know, the rich ones, you know, went to some tax havens. Maybe I will do the same actually for that. That's too high. That's too high. But it's brilliant. You know, I loved it. And I'm glad that, you know, I got to react to this. Once again, thank you for putting this video my way. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, as usual, please don't forget to give the video a big like for me. Many thanks to you for that. It's Harry. Stay cool, stay safe, and stay beautiful in your heart and soul. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.
Let's react.